Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree Buonomo. Hi if you're new here, or hey if you've been here before. And today I'm going to talk about my 2022 goals. And I'm very excited because I think this year I am actually going to keep them a little bit simple and just try to do my best. So I am going to include both my writing and my reading goals in this video. Normally I split them up, but because I don't have many, I'm going to keep them in the same video and hopefully keep it brief. So without further ado, let's jump into my 2022 goals. First, I'm going to start with my writing goals. The first goal that I have that is actually within sight is this year in 2022, I am finally going to query Prophecy Project. It is definitely going to happen. As the time I'm filming this, I have Prophecy Project out with some readers right now, and I'm currently in the middle of making and sprucing up my query letter and synopsis. So throughout January, if not before January begins, I should have both of those documents completed, and I should start getting back some of my reader feedback. So in the month of January, I can maybe go through, edit anything major that kind of came up when the readers read through it. And in theory, by February, if not March at the latest, I should be querying, and then Prophecy Project can go sit for a while I wait to see if I get any agents interested in it. So that's a wild time for me, but yeah, 2022, we are finally gonna query it, and it seems like it has been forever. By 2022, it's gonna be 4 years since I've written Prophecy Project the first time, and I think we're finally here. While Prophecy Project is going to be out with agents, I would like to make 2022 the year of finishing all the other projects I have started. So my goals are going to be relatively simple for this. First and foremost, I would like to finish both of my co-written projects that I'm working on. The first being Project Demetria, which is my co-written high fantasy with my co-writer Caitlin, where we are diving into kind of a dystopian world where our main character is kind of always been a thief and using her magical abilities to evade the government. But when she starts finding out things about her past and how the government has infiltrated her past and is kind of hurting people she cares about now, she decides to get involved with these political schemes. For Demetria's project, we do want to complete it, but I do think we've also, the reason we kind of stopped writing it in the year 2021 is because we kind of got distracted, and then we outlined it in our heads and maybe some brief descriptions on a piece of paper. But I do think one of the sub goals of this is that we're going to go back and read what we wrote and make sure we have an actual outline for the rest of the book, because that seems to be helping us in both our co-written and our individual work right now. So I do think we are going to read through and make an outline for the rest of the book. That way, when we do have any breaks from working on it, we can just pick back up where we started. I would also like to finish my rom-com that I also started with Caitlin that we did for NaNoWriMo of this year, 2021. I would like to finish it because we're about halfway through the book by the time that I'm filming this, and I think it's going to be very easy to finish because we have it all plotted out. It's just the fact that we had to write it, and with the end of my semester for grad school, I didn't have time to actually sit down and write with her, but we are going to make an effort by meeting every Wednesday next year, and we're going to get those books done. Whether we're working together or on our own stuff, those books are going to be finished. Additionally, I have 2 other projects that I would like to finish, or at least get closer to finishing in the year 2022. The first I mentioned in my 2021 wrap-up video was my Project Mermaid. It's a dark fantasy. I've been pitching it as The Little Mermaid meets The Hunger Games in an adult fantasy world, and I've been really enjoying writing it when I wrote it last year, and then I stopped, and now I kind of got off track with it. So in 2022, I would like to go back and read through it, and again, similar to my co-written project, I would like to outline the remainder of the book so that way I can keep in track. I don't know if I'll finish the book in 2022, maybe I will, but at least I want to read through it and outline the rest of it by the end of next year, if not finish it completely. I would also like to expand on my novella Project Micah. I also mentioned this in my 2021 wrap-up video, but I started a short story that kind of turned into a novella. It's sci-fi and takes place in our future on Earth, where our resources have dried up and the planet is dying, and people are trying to figure out a way off the planet, but because there's so limited resources, there's really not much hope. And the only hope that there seems to be is this weird magical tree that seems to suck people in and never let them go. So people are kind of fighting to get an opportunity to use this tree for scientific purposes, hoping that wherever they're going, it's a better world. So I do want to finish that novella, and by finish that, I actually mean I want to edit it. So it's already, the first draft's already completed. I do want to make a second draft and potentially have that as a like back book where if I get lucky enough to get an agent with Prophecy Project, I would like to have something that I can offer up as a next book. And lastly, I would like to completely write my vampire novel. I wrote the first chapter for NaNoWriMo 2021, and then I didn't finish it. I didn't go any farther than chapter 1 because of grad school. But I do think I outlined that very well, and I have that image and that idea so thoroughly in my head that I think in between all the other stuff I'm doing, I can finish that one, and I have the drive to do it as well. I know mermaid books don't sell very well, which is why I would like to prioritize my vampire novel over my dark mermaid fantasy in hopes that maybe one day I'll be able to sell the dark mermaid, but worst case scenario, my vampire will also be done, and I think that could be a stronger contender between the two. And ultimately, those are all the writing goals I have for myself. I am not going to commit to any sort of NaNoWriMo or Camp Nano goal because ultimately I would like to be working on the things I mentioned in this video. Any type of camp I would love to dedicate to finishing projects, and even in NaNoWriMo I think I will be a rebel and finish whatever I haven't finished throughout the rest of the year. So whether that's a co-written project, editing, or finishing a draft, that's what I would like to do. So I'm not going to put any more pressure on myself, and I'm not going to try to create anything new next year. Next year is going to be the year of finishing the shit I started. And on that note, let's talk about my 2022 reading goals. So despite not making my 52 books read in the year 2021, I did pretty good, and I know that I'll probably finish close to 35 books by the end of the year, which overall, I think that's a pretty solid year. So I'm going to keep my goal at 52 next year. I would like to read 52 books. Doesn't matter how big or how small they are. I think next year, with the time commitment being a little bit less for grad school, I'll be able to do it. I'm also going to try to keep the same number for big books, and I'm going to say that I would like to complete 5 big books. Big books is defined as more than 500 pages by me. So any book that is over 500 pages, I would consider that a big book in my world. So I would like to read 5 books over 500 pages. I mentioned this in my 2021 wrap-up as well, so, you know, just a small plug, if you haven't watched how I did in my 2021 goals, go watch it after this one. But in that video, I said that I wanted to do a YouTube video where I did a kind of book battle where I gave you guys 2 options and I had you pick my TBR based on the 2 options that I kind of pitched against each other. And I would do that for a few books. So maybe like 2 fairy books that have been on my shelf for a while and like 2 witch books that have been on my shelf for a while. So I would like to do that in 2022. I'm going to try to plan it where I will have the most amount of time and the most likelihood that I would complete the TBR because I am a mood reader. And I know that once I set myself like a goal to finish something, sometimes I have a really hard time finishing it because I don't want to read the book anymore. But I would like to do that sometime early in 2022. I would also like to continue live stream book discussions with Autumn Ashley. We did 2 in the year of 2021. We were supposed to have 3, but then the way we planned it out, it kind of ended up that we moved it to January instead because of the holidays. But I would like to try to do 3 official ones in the year 2022 and keep streaming them between me and Autumn's channel. I think we had a lot of fun this year, and I also think we can broaden our readings if we're working together and discussing them on YouTube. So I would like to complete 3 of them next year. And my last goal, which if you watched my last video, then you know I'm not going to name specific books because that probably won't happen if I do it. But there have been quite a few series that between the years 2020 and 2021, the series have been completed now. And quite a few of them outside of those years have been series that I've picked up and read, and then only read the first one or two and then haven't finished, that are now also finished. So I have quite a few of them on my list, and I'm kind of ashamed to think about how many books I keep piling up on my shelves that I just need like 1 or 2 books to finish. Some of them I can mention here, like Serpent and Dove, The City of Brass, Blood Rose Rebellion, River of Royal Blood, and so on. I can literally go on and on about how many sequels have come out and or trilogies, and I just have so many books. So I would just like to finish a few of them. And we're not even going to put a tangible number on it. I just want to finish a few of the series that I have started that have since been completed prior to 2021. So 2021 and back. So any book series that finish in 2022 do not count towards this goal, just any ones that from 2021 and earlier. If I can finish those series because they have been finished in the year 2021 or earlier, I would like to finish some of them because I have quite a few and I'm a little embarrassed at how and why I keep putting them off. But yeah, so that's my goal. I just want to finish a few of the series. And I know in 2019, I made a video about series that I need to finish. I'll link that in the cards above. It's obviously 2 years old now. I have not reviewed that video since I made it. So maybe what I'll do at the end of 2022 is I will finally react to that video and let you know if I actually finished any of those series by the end of 2022. We can kind of do like a 2-part 2022 goals wrap up where I like review all the goals I made, but also review that video. Let me know if you're interested in that. And those are all my reading goals. Again, short, sweet, and simple, but I think it's much more manageable than I tried to set out for myself in 2021. And lastly, I never really include too many personal goals because ultimately I always just have the same goal that I want to continue learning and thriving and making myself better every day. And I do that with my witchcraft practice and through my relationships and through my counseling career. So I do think that that's a constant goal for me. It's not something I mention too often on this channel. But I do think I want to put it out there that in 2022, I would like to complete the grad school portion of my education and be done with it. As I mentioned in previous videos, I only have my practicum and internship hours, which means I'll be having a second job pretty much all year. And it is going to be a lot of work for me to finish my internship in the summer and fall semesters. Typically, internships take 2 semesters because it is 600 hours that you need to complete it. So from May until December, I need to finish 600 hours of clinical experience. And I have to do that on top of my full-time job, which is going to be very tricky. So I need to plan properly. I need to commit, and I need to really keep my head on straight if I'm going to finish it next year. But that is one of my goals, is to finish it so that I don't have to go into another semester in the spring in order to finish my internship. Ideally, I'll finish it all within next year. So that's a goal I'm going to put out there. I'm gonna will it to happen. And that is it, guys. Those are my 2022 goals. Let me know down below what you think of them. Do you think they're realistic? Do you think they're underachieving? And what goals do you have set for yourself in 2022? Let me know. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.